Hey everybody, my name is Reverend Jim Keat. I'm the digital minister here at the Riverside Church, and this is the Word Made Fresh, the weekly video Bible study where we take a look at one of the upcoming lectionary passages, talk about it, and then, have a conversation. So, let's do it. Now, the first thing you might notice is I'm at Riverside. I'm here for the week, and so I thought I would film this week's episode here on the 14th floor of the tower. I like the 14th floor, it has pretty windows. Okay, now back to what we came here for, the lectionary passage. We are going to look at the Hebrew scripture lesson for this coming Sunday, Lamentations chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. Now, I'm gonna look right at you and read the whole thing because that's, I think, the point of this week's passage. We're not going to try to do any secret sidestep onto, oh, look at this way uber progressive reading. This is Lamentations. I think this is one of those books that we kind of gloss over, like, ooh, where's Amos? I like Amos. But Lamentations, we're kind of like, really? So let's dive in, and then we'll chat for a bit about it. Here it is. How lonely sits the city that was once full of people. How like a widow she has become, she that was great among the nations. She that was a princess among the provinces has become a vassal. She weeps bitterly in the night with tears on her cheeks. Among her lovers, she has no one to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They have become her enemies. Judah has gone into exile with suffering and hard servitude. She lives now among the nations and finds no resting place. Her pursuers have all overtaken her in the midst of her distress. The roads to Zion mourn because no one comes to the festivals. All her gates are desolate. Her priests groan, her young girls grieve, and her lot is bitter. Her foes have become the masters, and her enemies prosper, because the Lord has made her suffer for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children have gone away, captives before the foe. From daughter Zion has departed all her majesty. Her princes have become like stags that find no pasture. They fled without strength before the pursuer. Whew, that is heavy. So this is a lament, Lamentations. The title kind of gives it away, it's right there. Jeremiah is the prophet. It's called the weeping prophet for right reasons. He's the guy writing this or recounting this. He saw Jerusalem get taken into exile. This is the last little round before they were taken to exile. Then later you get Daniel in exile and you get Ezra and Nehemiah coming back. That's for later, spoiler warning. But right now we're with Jeremiah in his moment of grief, of sadness, of heaviness. And it's pretty apparent right there on the page how lonely sits the city that was once full of people. Notice the details he uses to describe what he's feeling. He's describing a city that weeps. He's describing the roads mourning because no one's coming to the festivals. The princes are like stags with no pasture, fleeing without any strength. This is a dude who's down, out, a little depressed. And I think one of the important lessons is he doesn't jump to, it's all gonna be okay, don't worry, be happy. He sits with grief, with difficulty, with pain, with sorrow, and he's present with those words. So I want to ask the question, do we ever do that? Why don't we do that, maybe is the question. The Bible's full of this kind of stuff. Jeremiah, the book named after him, has some of that too. 70% of the Psalms, the Bible's hymnal, contain themes of lament. But when it comes to the church, if you look at the top 150 songs sung in churches across America, guess what percentage has lament themes? Approximately 0. So I think a text like this, there's no, let's take an angle, let's dive here, let's peel this back. This is really just a very honest invitation. So the question is simply, what do you need to lament? Or if you don't want to go that personal in the comments, what do we as a culture, as a church in America, in the world, What do we need to lament? And what difference does that make? Lament. One little note just to psychoanalyze the text a smidge. There's the one part that gives me kind of like a, wait, what? On my neck. Verse 5. Because the Lord has made her suffer for the multitude of her transgressions. Okay, let me just say, I don't believe that. I don't think God makes anyone suffer. God is not throwing lightning bolts of suffering down saying, pew, pew, pew. But in the midst of suffering, that's how it can feel. So I think that's what the author's doing here. The author's not saying, there's a big bearded God up in the top of the mountain. No, it's simply when you are in the midst of brokenness and suffering, you want to kind of point a finger. And so sometimes we blame God. I think that's okay. I think she can take it. All right. So let's talk about lament. Leave a few comments with your thoughts on lament, what we as a culture, as a church need to lament, and maybe what you personally are lamenting. All right. We'll be back next week. Another episode, another text. Till then, I'll see you in the comments. Oh, wait, this coming Sunday, October 6th, if you're watching this in real time, we're having The Word Made Fresh live, a live video Bible study. Go to trcnyc.org/thewordmadefresh. You'll see all the information, the link to click, and you can join the live video call. I would love to see you face to face if you are not in the New York area. If you're in the New York area, just go to Riverside's Bible study. But if you're, out of town or unable to get to the building, join us for our first live online Bible study, Sunday, October 6th, 9:30 a.m. Go to the website, click the link. See you there. Okay, bye.